You are eating better. You are moving more than before, and that belly is still there. It's not getting bigger, but it's not going away either. What no one tells you about abdominal fat after 50 is that it's not a lack of willpower, it's not poor nutrition, and it's not solved by walking more. After 50, the deep muscles of the abdomen, the ones that function like a natural belt around your waist, begin to switch off. A study published in the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity found that up to 60% of adults over 50 have significant weakness in the transverse abdominis muscle, the deepest of them all, the one that traditional crunches never reach. When that muscle stops working, nothing supports your midsection. Your belly protrudes forward, your lower back hurts, and no amount of exercise seems to work. But here is what changes everything. You don't need to do more crunches. You don't need to exercise longer or harder. You only need to wake up the right muscles, and you can do it lying in your bed. Today, we're going to show you 3 gentle exercises, no gym, no equipment, that go directly to the muscles your abdominal fat is hiding. These exercises are not internet trends or passing fads. They are movements that physical therapists, rehabilitation physicians, and geriatric specialists have been using for more than 30 years in clinics and hospitals around the world. The reason is simple. They activate the deep abdominal muscles without straining the joints, without impact, and without the risk of injury. These exercises work for anyone over 50, regardless of your current fitness level. Whether you haven't exercised in years, or if you have mobility limitations, you don't need any previous experience. You only need a bed or a mat and a few minutes a day. And pay close attention because exercise number 3 is the most surprising. It looks like the simplest of the 3, but it activates a muscle group that most people completely ignore. And it turns out to be the key piece that connects the entire system. Without that muscle, the other 2 exercises lose much of their effect. Exercise 1, dead bug. Most people have never heard of this exercise, but physical therapists at institutions such as Massachusetts General Hospital, affiliated with Harvard, consider it one of the safest and most effective core exercises for older adults. The reason is powerful. It works all 4 abdominal muscles at the same time, including the deepest of them all, the one that traditional crunches never reach. That muscle is called the transverse abdominis. Imagine it as a corset wrapped around the inside of your abdomen. When that muscle works, it holds everything in place. When it switches off, and after years of a sedentary lifestyle, it often does, nothing else can do its job. This exercise wakes it up again. A meta-analysis published in the Journal of Physical Therapy Science in 2019 confirmed that deep stabilization exercises, such as the dead bug, activate the transverse abdominis significantly more than any variation of a conventional crunch. That means that while classic crunches work the superficial layer, this exercise reaches directly into the layer that truly supports your belly from the inside. To do it, you only need your bed or a firm surface, nothing else. Lie on your back with your knees bent and your feet resting on the surface, your arms pointing toward the ceiling. Now gently press your lower back against the mattress. Not your entire body, only your lower back, as if you wanted to close that small space between your spine and the bed. Keep that pressure the entire time. Now lift both feet off the bed with your knees bent at 90 degrees, your shins parallel to the ceiling, as if you were sitting in a chair that someone tilted backward. That is your starting position. Hold that position. Feel the gentle work in your abdomen. That is exactly the right place. Now slowly lower your right arm backward over your head toward the bed. At the same time, slowly extend your left leg and lower it toward the bed, both moving together, both stopping just before touching. Then return both to the center. Now the other side. Left arm backward, right leg outward, together, slow. That is one complete repetition. You should feel a deep activation that runs through your entire abdomen. Not that superficial burning sensation of a classic crunch. It's something deeper, as if something inside you were working intensely to keep you stable. If your lower back lifts off the bed, you have gone too far. Make the movement smaller. Lower your arm and leg only halfway. Your lower back must remain pressed against the bed the entire time. That is the complete goal of the exercise. If you don't feel anything, before you start moving, gently draw your belly button toward your spine. That inward movement is what switches on the deep muscle. If you feel tension in your neck, you are activating the wrong muscles. Let your head rest. The work is in your abdomen, not your neck. During the first week, do 5 repetitions on each side. Focus only on keeping your lower back glued to the bed. During the second week, increase to 8 repetitions on each side and add a 2-second pause when your arm and leg are fully extended. During the third week, do 10 repetitions on each side. Try to keep your breathing steady throughout the entire exercise. Exhale as you extend. Inhale as you return. Stay still for a moment after you finish. Notice how your abdomen feels. That feeling of activation you just experienced is your corset muscle waking up. That is exactly what has been missing. But the next exercise works on something that very few people train, and that is your abdomen's ability to stay active while your legs are moving. Exercise 2. Heel slides. Now that your deep core has been activated, we are going to keep it activated. This second exercise looks simple. It almost seems like you are not doing anything visible, but it is asking your abdomen to stay firm while your legs are moving, which is exactly what your body needs to do every time you take a step. Every time you climb a flight of stairs, every time you stand up from a chair. A study published in the Archives of Physical Medicine and Rehabilitation showed that stabilization exercises with controlled limb movement, such as heel slides, reduce the risk of recurrent lower back pain by up to 47% in adults over 50. That means this exercise does not only work your abdomen, it also directly protects your lower back, and you can do it from your bed in less than 5 minutes. To do it, you only need your bed or a smooth floor. If you are on your bed with sheets, your heels will slide naturally. If you are on a hard floor, put on socks. Lie on your back with your knees bent and your feet resting on the surface. Gently press your lower back against the surface just like in the previous exercise. Now, slowly slide your right heel forward along the bed, straightening your right leg as much as you can without allowing your lower back to lift. Pause for 1 second. Then, slide it back, bending your knee until you return to the starting position. Now do it with your left leg. That is 1 complete repetition. You should feel the same deep abdominal activation that you felt during the first exercise. If your lower back lifts when your leg extends, that is your signal that your core was not able to maintain the position. Shorten the range of motion. Only go as far as your abdomen can maintain control. If it feels too easy, do it more slowly. Take a full 4 seconds to slide out and a full 4 seconds to return. You will feel the difference immediately. If you feel the work in your hip instead of your abdomen, check that your lower back is still pressed down before you begin sliding. The pressure has to happen first. During the first week, do 8 repetitions with each leg. Slow, steady, without rushing. Focus on keeping your lower back glued to the surface the entire time. During the second week, increase to 10 repetitions with each leg and add a 2-second pause when your leg is fully extended. During the third week, do 12 repetitions with each leg. Try alternating sides without resting. Right leg goes out, right leg comes back, left leg goes out, left leg comes back. One continuous flow. What this exercise is doing is teaching your abdomen to remain active while your legs are moving. That is the skill your body needs every single day. Literally, every step you take depends on this ability, and there is something that very few exercise channels explain to you. When this connection between your core and the movement of your legs is lost, which is something that gradually happens to most people after 50, walking becomes less efficient, balance deteriorates, and your lower back begins to compensate for work that it was never meant to do. This exercise restores that connection from the ground up. Now, the third exercise is the one that surprises people the most. You may recognize it, but the way we're going to ask you to do it today is completely different from what most people do. Exercise 3, Glute Bridge. You may recognize this exercise, but today we want you to do it in a different way because most people do the glute bridge and feel it in their hamstrings or their lower back. They completely miss the point. The real goal is to feel it in your glutes, the muscles on the back of your hips, and here comes the connection that almost no one explains when talking about abdominal fat. Your glutes and your deep core are part of the same system. A study published in the Journal of Orthopedic and Sports Physical Therapy confirmed that glute weakness is directly associated with pelvic instability and increased pressure on the lower back in adults over 50. When your glutes are working properly, they stabilize your pelvis from below. That takes pressure off your lower back. And when your lower back is no longer under constant pressure, Your body stops accumulating tension throughout your midsection. The belly that protrudes forward begins to have support from below. It is not magic, it is mechanics. The right muscles supporting the right things in the right place. To do it, lie on your back, knees bent, feet resting on the surface, positioned hip-width apart, your arms resting comfortably at your sides. Now press through your heels and slowly lift your hips upward. You do not need to lift very high, only until your body forms a straight line from your shoulders to your knees. At the top, squeeze your glutes. Squeeze them as if you were trying to hold something between them. Hold that contraction for a full 2 seconds. Then slowly lower yourself. Do not let yourself drop. Take 3 seconds to lower down. That is 1 repetition. You should feel it in your glutes. Those muscles on the back of your hips, not in your lower back. If your lower back is working more than your glutes, press your heels harder into the bed before lifting. The drive comes from your heels. The contraction comes from your glutes. If you do not feel anything in your glutes, move your feet slightly farther away from your body and try again. That small adjustment shifts the workload from your hamstrings and lower back directly to your glutes. If your hamstrings cramp, move your feet a little closer to your body and squeeze your glutes first before lifting. During the first week, do 8 slow repetitions. Hold the contraction for 2 seconds at the top, then take 3 seconds to lower down. During the second week, do 10 repetitions with a 3-second contraction at the top. During the third week, do 12 repetitions. During the last 3 repetitions, hold the top position for a full 5 seconds. You are going to feel your entire lower body working as one integrated system, and that is exactly how these 3 exercises work together. The dead bug found your deep core, that corset muscle that supports your entire midsection. Most people over 50 have completely lost that connection without realizing it. The heel slides kept that core activated while your legs were moving. That is the kind of training your abdominal muscles need to stay active during real life, not just when you are lying still. And the glute bridge integrated your hips and your lower body, the foundation of the entire system. When all 3 parts are working, your pelvis is stable, your lower back is supported, and the belly that used to protrude forward finally has something supporting it from the inside. The belly you see in the mirror is a signal, not a sentence. Wake up the muscles underneath and everything changes. But before we finish, there is something you need to understand that most exercise videos never mention. After 50, your body does not just lose muscle strength. It loses something even quieter and more important. It loses communication between your brain and your deep muscles. It is called neuromuscular control. And a study published in the journal Neuroscience Letters demonstrated that adults over 50 can take up to 3 times longer to activate the transverse abdominis in response to an unexpected movement compared to younger adults. That means that even though the muscle is still there, your brain takes too long to switch it on. And that delay is exactly what causes your lower back to compensate, your posture to deteriorate, and your midsection to lose firmness year after year. The 3 exercises you have just learned do not only strengthen your muscles, they retrain that neural connection. Every slow repetition, every second that you keep your lower back pressed against the bed, is rebuilding a neural pathway that had weakened over the years. That is why moving slowly is so important. It is not about doing more repetitions or increasing the intensity. It is about giving your nervous system enough time to remember how to activate the right muscles in the right order. And there is another factor that very few people know about, and it can sabotage all the progress you make with these exercises if you do not take it into account. Breathing. A study from the European Spine Journal found that diaphragmatic breathing, that is, breathing by expanding your abdomen instead of your chest, increases activation of the transverse abdominis by up to 30% during stabilization exercises like the ones you have just learned. Most adults over 50 breathe superficially using their chest and shoulders. That way of breathing disconnects the diaphragm from the deep core and drastically reduces the effectiveness of any abdominal exercise you do. The correct way is this. Before starting each exercise, place one hand on your chest and the other on your abdomen. Inhale through your nose for 3 seconds. The hand on your abdomen should rise. The one on your chest should remain still. Exhale through your mouth for 4 seconds while feeling your abdomen gently draw inward. That exhalation automatically activates the transverse abdominis. If you incorporate that breathing before and during each exercise, you are going to feel an enormous difference from the very first session. It is not a minor detail, it is the switch that connects the entire system. This is not about burning fat with these exercises. It is about rebuilding the structure beneath your belly so your body can begin doing what it was designed to do. When your core is functioning properly, your posture changes, your lower back stops hurting, and your entire midsection begins to feel supported in a way you probably have not felt in years. These 3 exercises take less than 15 minutes. You are not going to see a flat stomach after one session. That is not how this works. But here is what does happen. Muscle loss after 50 isn't the end. It's just a signal that your body needs a different kind of signal. After 1 to 2 weeks, you are going to start feeling a difference in how your midsection supports itself. That constant mild ache in your lower back begins to decrease. You sit up straighter without even trying. After 3 to 4 weeks, people begin to notice something. Not only in the mirror, but in the way they move. Walking feels lighter. Standing up from the couch takes less effort. There is a feeling that something is supporting you, something that was not there before. After 6 to 8 weeks, the belly that has been protruding forward begins to retract, not because you burned it away, but because the muscles underneath it woke up and started doing their job again. You do not need to start with all 3 exercises on the first day. Begin with 1 or 2 for a week and observe how your body responds. Consistency is what makes the difference, not intensity. And if this video gave you something useful, leave a comment telling us 3 things: your age, the country you are watching from, and whether abdominal fat is something you have struggled with for a long time or something more recent. We read each and every comment. Your response helps us create the videos that truly help you. Give this video a like if it brought you value. It only takes a second and helps other people over 50 who are struggling with the same thing find this video when they need it most. Subscribe every day. Something simple, something real, something you can do. Take care of your midsection. It has been waiting for the right signal. Now you know what to give it. And if you want to keep strengthening your body with safe and effective exercises for your age, the next video is going to interest you a lot. But that is not all. If you made it this far, it is because something in this video connected with you. Maybe you recognize that feeling. Standing up from a chair and feeling like you need to support yourself. Hesitating before climbing a flight of stairs, or walking with less confidence than you used to have. And you have probably spent a long time thinking that this is simply what happens with age. It is not. Your body can become stronger at any age, and science supports it. Your body can still become stronger, and today is the best day to prove it. If this changed how you think about exercise after 50, hit that like button, and subscribe to Winds of Thought for more practical, science-backed advice on healthy aging.